Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the very first Christmas video of 2023. I can barely contain my excitement. Like, how is it Christmas series already? We are starting off strong with some polymer clay and silk screens. Guys, look at these cookie cutters. These are the most adorable Christmas jumper or Christmas sweater cookie cutters I think I've ever seen. And silk screens. Everything you need for this video is going to be down below in my Amazon storefronts under the polymer clay section. Silk screens, guys, I have wanted to try these for the longest time, and I have to do a massive shout out to Abby, one of my patrons. Abby, she's an incredible polymer clay artist, and on Instagram her name is Lady Boss Stitch. I'm going to actually link her down below so you guys can also go and check out her incredible creations. She's helped me so much with this project because, as you know, I love polymer clay. I'm just not very good. I'm not the best. I'm not a professional. Now, I do have a tile. We've got some tiles left over from our new bathroom, and I'm going to be using that now, so I'm so excited, and that can go in the oven. I've got my rolling pin, my cutters, and my Fimo. I'm using Fimo Soft in the red, and I just spent some time molding it together and kind of working it and making it softer, and then I rolled it through my pasta machine to get a gorgeous flat disc. It's not even a disc, is it? It's just a flat shape. It's just a flat shape. I wish it was more of an actual defined shape, but here we are. I gave it a little bit of a roll just to get out some of the ridges that roller left behind. My pasta maker, it left a few ridges. I just rolled them out. Then it was just time to choose my silk screen. Now, these did come attached, so I used my scissors to cut them all up individually into individual rectangles. This one here makes my heart sing. This is like a proper traditional, like, Fair Isle print, and it's got stags and stars, and it's just so pretty. Now, I'm just pressing it down onto my polymer clay real gently. You don't want to push it in to your clay. Just rest it on top, and it kind of automatically clings to the surface of the clay. It's not sticking, it just clings. I'm using a silicone squeegee, and I'm using what is left of my white acrylic paint, and this was scary. I cannot tell you. I didn't practice off screen. I always like to go as I go and go with the flow and film as I'm doing things, even if it is the very first time I'm ever doing it. I've put my white acrylic paint at the top of the silk screen, and I was nervous. Then you just scrape down. You're not pressing too hard. You're just gently scraping down, trying to get an even surface of paint across the whole silk screen. And I just went over a couple of times. I can definitely improve on this technique. You know, it would help if I had a bigger bit of clay where I could put the paint all the way across, but I had to do it in patches. I didn't really have a choice at this point, and I'm just adding more paint and using my silicone squeegee to scrape it down the surface of the silk screen. I cannot tell you how therapeutic this was. Like, if I could choose one craft for the rest of my life, I genuinely think I'd choose polymer clay. Are you even ready for this? Oh my goodness. How stunning is this? Like, how stunning is it? The actual silk screen, I'm going to dash it into the bathroom and wash it thoroughly before that acrylic paint has a chance to set. But look at the detail. It was literally, excuse the pun, but it was like Christmas. It was like Christmas, peeling that away and seeing the reveal. And I don't know why I was so shocked that it had worked. I mean, it's designed to work, but you know me, guys. Ugh. Anyway, I had a bit of paint excess on the sides, so I was just touching it until that was dry, and then I knew I could go in and use the cookie cutters. Again, shout out to Abby, because honestly, Abby's the one that I saw these on her work, and I was like, Abby, please, I need those cookie cutters. So Abby sent me the link for them, and then she's helped me learn a lot more about polymer clay than I realised. But guys, check it out. It's like the most adorable Christmas jumper you've ever seen in your life. I honestly could not get enough. I feel like if I didn't have to keep this video to a certain time, it could have been 5 hours long. I'm not even kidding. I couldn't stop. Also, if I had more clay and paint. I did run out of paint, but it's all good. I used the teeniest cutter. Like, this cutter was so small. It was super, super fiddly, but I just really wanted to find a gap where I could have two of the same, because I felt like if I'm making like stud earrings or danglies, I wanted them to have the same pattern on the jumper. Sadly for this one, it wasn't really possible. I just did what I could with the space that I had, and I figured, hey, we can always make mismatched earrings. That's perfectly fine, honestly. At first, when I used the tiniest cutter, there is a tiny, tiny one, I just didn't feel like they looked like jumpers. So everything you're seeing here, all them teeny ones at the top right hand side, I actually didn't keep them. For me, they just weren't jumpery enough. But the ones at the bottom on the right hand side, this one is like the next size up in cutter. And I was happy. Like, I was really, really happy with it. But look at it. I cannot cope. I actually want one of these in real life. Like, in real life. I used my polymer clay blade just to peel it up off the surface of the tile so that I could clean the tile and crack on with the next section of clay. So now we have used both pieces from the one pack of polymer, and that is all I genuinely had. I didn't have any more. I did buy brand new Fimo Soft for this project because honestly my clay is... yeah, I didn't really have 2 hours to get it back to any kind of moldable. Again, I'm using another of the screen prints now. So that first one has been washed. It is drying. This is another one of the screen prints that is in the pack. Again, linked below. I used way too much paint here. Do not use this much paint. Like, it was nice because I was able to pull it down over the whole screen print. So it was a lot easier in that sense, but it's just way too much paint. You do not need that much if you decide to do this. I had so much paint left on the squeegee, but look at this, guys. I don't know why it makes me so giddy. Like, it makes me want to jump around. I was just sitting there like, oh my goodness me. Now at this point, I really wanted to cover all of the clay. I thought, I don't want to roll this up, roll it out again. I'm just going to cover it as is. That might not have been the best decision. Again, I just took a wipe and I wiped the surface of the clay to get all of that excess paint off. Bit of a risk because all of the paint is still wet at this point, but I really just wanted to maximize the space that I had on the rolled out piece. So probably not the best way to go about it, but if you're a lazy crafter like me, just do it. Do what you want. Here we are again, finding the best areas that's going to give me a really cool pattern on my jumpers. Now, I didn't put too much thought into it, but I did, I kind of did. I wanted the pattern on the jumper to be equal and symmetrical. So where I put the neckline, I didn't want it to like cut through the middle of a tree. I wanted it all to be as symmetrical as possible, which as I got less and less space became more and more impossible. I just had to cut where I could fit the cookie cutters at this point. And again, that's okay. If we've got mismatched. So here we are. This is the second run, and all of that excess clay, even though it's got paint on it, as soon as I squished it all together and ran it through my pasta roller, the paint just dispersed into the clay. The paint disappeared. You can't see the paint anymore. The clay is back to being red, which is something else I've learned. I just thought maybe I couldn't use that clay again, but the paint has disappeared. The clay is back to being clay. Now I'm just using my blade to remove them all from the tile, just so that I can clean the tile and get it ready to go in the oven. And to clean my tile, I really just used a wipe and some tissue to dry it off. And this is what we're left with. Like I said, I did not use those little ones, those teeny tiny ones. They just weren't singing to me. They didn't look very jumpery. But this is going to go into the oven at 115 degrees. I left it in there for an hour. I don't think it needed that long, but I left it in there for an hour just to be super, super safe. And this is what we've got. Oh my gosh, guys, I am obsessed with them. Now, I am going to coat them in UV resin, but I thought this would be the best time to show you the UV resin starter kit. Now, Wendy over at Toonfish Crafts has already shown you this kit. It is absolutely packed full, so I'm not going to take long. I'm just going to quickly run through what you get in the Let's Resin starter kit. And the reason I'm showing you this is because I know at the bottom of this box is a bottle of UV resin from Let's Resin. And I don't even think I've used their UV resin before, so today's the first time. We've got some molds, we've got some chains, we've got some gorgeous ropes for necklaces, we've got some closed bezels, open bezels, we've got some jump rings for your jewellery making, we've got some of the UV resin tape, we've got a huge, it's massive, bottle of Let's Resin UV resin. We've also got 2 boxes, one full of glitter, one full of shimmery flakes, and comes with a UV light. Honestly, it is the most incredible UV resin startup kit, and you also get this box, this container box, full of beautiful pressed ferns and flowers. I am here for the UV resin though. I'm also going to use their new little light because I thought that would be really convenient. My nail light is big and bulky. I'm loving Let's Resin. I'm loving the precision tip on this bottle. The other UV resins I've used, which are also incredible, by the way, they don't have such a tiny precision tip. I found this really, really helpful, especially because some of these pieces are teeny tiny. All I'm doing here is, like you saw, I went around the outside edge with the UV resin, and I'm just using a cocktail stick to bring that UV resin to the edges. I'm doing that first before I fill the rest of the jumper up. I can't get enough of this. I honestly am so in love with the fact that I used screens. I used silk screens on polymer clay. It's something I've wanted to do for ages. It's literally a wish list. It was on my things I've wanted to do so bad. I just haven't got round to it, or I felt overwhelmed by it in some way. But happy, guys, so happy I finally did it. So you can see me here. I've just filled up the surface, trying my absolute best not to get it over the edges, and then I'm going to hit it with a torch and put it under a UV light. Now, it was really only at this point, as I was top coating, I really noticed I should have sanded the edges. You can see there where the cookie cutter didn't do the best job. I should have sanded the edges. I didn't. It's not too late because obviously that's the back and that's still sandable. But I did then go ahead and sand all of the edges of all of the other pieces because it was really only then that I noticed. I'm not going to take you through me top coating each and every piece because we'll be here a while. But my method did not change. For the bigger ones, I went around the outside edge first, and then I filled them in and they went under this new UV light. Now, this UV light is only 1 minute, so I had to press it 2 or 3 times for each individual piece. Now, I'm using this, another new product from Let's Resin. This is their UV resin for bonding your jewellery pieces. Stop it now. I've actually got out my big box of jewellery findings that I got from Amazon, and I'm gonna make these teeny tiny little jumpers. Guys, when I tell you they're small, they're literally the size of like a thumbnail. They're tiny. I'm gonna attach my studs to the backs of these using the UV resin bonding from Let's Resin, and just hope it works because again, not something I've used. Let me know if you make jewellery a lot, what you use to stick your actual studs onto the back. Do you use resin? Do you use super glue and then resin? Let me know the best method, because stud earrings is not something you see on my channel a lot at all, but wow, did I have fun. And this was so tiny and intricate and fiddly, and just it actually made me concentrate, which was a nice feeling. Once I had placed down the actual stud, I decided to coat the entire backs with the UV resin. I just thought, it would look neater. It just would look neater. I didn't like the look of this blob on the back of them, and I figured if I just fully cover them, it would look so much more done and so much more complete. So that is what I did. Again, I'm not showing you each and every one because that would be long. They went under the UV light again for like 200-300 seconds. I put them in and I kept putting them in to make sure they were done. Now, for the mid-size jumpers, I'm going to make these into the biggest dangly earrings like that ever were. I'm using my go-to jewelry drill to just drill a tiny hole at the tops of these. These are your office Christmas party earrings. You know, those Christmas earrings that are loud and like in your face. That's what these are. That is what these are. Now for the biggest jumper, I'm going to turn it into a key ring. Now ideally I would have a bigger drill bit to do this, but I'm just going to use my jewelry drill again. I'm just moving it round in a circular motion, and eventually I am able to carve out quite a large hole on this jumper in order to put my keychain through. And the same with the mid-range. To be able to put my jump rings through, I just wanted a small little hole. Now, I know some of you will be thinking, I could have cut these holes before I baked the polymer clay. I find it easier to do it this way round. If I'm honest, I just do. I find it easier to drill holes after, because it doesn't get in the way of the UV resin top coat. If I drill the holes first and then UV resin top coat, that's just a hole that I've got to be really careful around when it comes to putting the UV top coat, and I ain't got time. we got time for that. So yeah, for me, drilling the hole after, so much easier. Look at these. I can't even cope. They're so beautiful. Like, I made these. Sometimes I look at things and I'm like, I made that. I can't believe I made that. And there's no real there's no real bad mistakes. Like, what's going on, Claire? You're starting Christmas strong with a video that doesn't really have many mistakes. Like, what's happening here? These stud earrings are to die for. Look how cute they are, just standing up. Now, the jewelry findings kit that I found on Amazon will be linked in my jewelry section down below, but it comes with all of the rubber backs and the butterfly backs for your studs, depending on what you want. I love them. Can't get enough. I absolutely love the dangly earrings. I'm so proud that I finally tried this technique out, because I was so scared of it. Like, you know, you're always scared of something that you've never tried, just in case you fail. That is me. 100%. I'm putting it out there. I am definitely vulnerable when it comes to trying new things for the first time, in the fear that I might not be able to do it. And if I can't do it well first time, I probably will never try it again. That is unfortunately my personality, but I'm obsessed. I love them so much. Thank you so much if you've watched this far. Let me know your thoughts on my first ever attempt at silk screening with polymer clay. Again, thanks to Abby for all of your help on this. She really did give me such great advice. The tile went in the oven with the polymer clay, came out a dream. That is the beauty of using a tile. I didn't cut myself on the blade. I mean, come on guys, win-win. Thank you so much. First Christmas video of 2023. I cannot wait for you to see the rest. Bye.